establishing a good identity. The question is, can they pilot this identity through some of these counter picks of what ISU is establishing? Well, let's have to see if it works out for them.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing for me. It just feels like there's certain elements coming in from AoE that they're just not. I don't know if it's not respecting, or maybe they're expecting too much out of ISU to really change the pace. ISU are a team that can play a certain style, but they're also a team that can play towards what's meta. They can play towards what has been really strong and grabbing this set. And this is the one thing we have to keep in mind. Volibear, set, we don't know where we're going. Even though we expect to be hyper playing this Volibear, we expect set to be, strangely enough, onto Nausicaa's hands, not Trudozer's hands this time, because it's Senna and set lane. These are things that still can be flexed around and can still be adapted to on the fly.
Exactly, man. That's why ISU is so dangerous to draft against these guys, because usually whenever you're going into a match, you're like, all right, we know that this champion is a flex, but we can 99% of the time guess who's going to be piloting this champion. For ISU, you can't guess who's going to be piloting what, man. You can kind of guess like 60% Shamwell is going to pick this Gangplank, but that 40% though, like Drudos could put that thing in the mid lane, and you're like, oh crap, we weren't ready for that. But for AoE, they're going to be continuing to engage for themselves. They're going to be looking to dive into the bottom, dive in, hard commit. The thing with ISU though is that I think they've set themselves up to have a pretty solid, basically defensive line, man. They have a really solid defensive line coming in, and they're going to be adding on to that with that Rumble as well. You know, making sure it's going to be a front-to-back team fight, and that you have to kind of tackle all the way through to see if you can break down the quarterback. And it is very clear who this quarterback is going to be on ISU. It's going to be Disconnector, sitting behind his front line, sitting behind his linebackers, and making sure that he can nail some of these shots against the opposing team.
So yeah, I'm not so sold on that recon pick by SkyTech here. Thresh was left open, and even though it doesn't really fit the mold of being able to dive in, one thing I like that it does is it does give a little bit of peel back. And it lets them have a little bit more safety, because now they are fully committed into diving into this composition of ISU. And look at this. You have a Gangplank who's going to be setting up barrels. You got a Rumble that if you jump into Flame Spitter Equalizer, he's going to annihilate you. You have Set, who's going to be able to disrupt. You have Volibear, who's going to be able to disrupt. And like I said, the quarterback ultimately of Disconnector on the Senna, who's going to be really far back.
This is where I'm wondering what's going to be happening. Oh, before I get to that though, I'm down for it. We talked about ISU Flex and everything. By the way, I completely forgot to mention, Disconnector plays Rumble. He actually plays as champion.
He does.
Completely forgot.
But the thing is, I saw Senna and Set, and I'm so used to seeing that bot lane where it's fast as Senna, and you have Set bot lane, Rumble mid lane would be fine.
Like
Galio.
hello. Like everything in ISU can be shuffled left and right, man. You could send Rumble top lane into Shen and it'll do okay. You could send, not Set for sure, but you could still send GP in mid lane and it'll do fine. You know, a lot of things shuffling, but I'm happy to see Disconnector pull out the roam, man. That's a treat to see. Hopefully he can show up on this pick here. But I want to touch back on your point real quick on Magical about AoE and their, one-stop shop dive shop, man. Like all these are all the ingredients. This is the recipe of diving in. The thing is that AoE, I think this is where some teams kind of get caught up on focusing too much on their identity. Yes, you're picking a full-on dive composition that works cohesively together as a unit. The issue is that ISU has champions on their side that works really well on answering back that dive. Showstopper helps out a lot. Volibear and his gigantic slow helps out. Gangplank Ultimate destroys this kind of front-to-back team fight, especially when you're walking through barrels, and that means that Senna is going to be a lot harder to tackle down. This is where I think if AoE actually pivoted their other two picks on dealing with that front line, it probably would have been a lot better.
That's why I think that Thresh would have been the final last answer coming in from SkyTech. You stick with the Kaisa. I think stick with it. It works with what you've gotten, but it just gives you a little bit more tools to be able to work with. Hell, even something maybe like a Nautilus, just to be able to have something that is it's just depth charge where you can have essentially a longer range engage, right? Where you're not fully committing. You don't have to follow up a depth charge. You can lock that down on one target. If it's an opportunity, you follow through.
Honestly, at that point, I'm actually down just picking like Zyra or some sort of range support on the bottom side along with Caitlyn. I mean, they could have easily gone like Caitlyn Morgana on the bottom lane because now means Caitlyn's able to just free hit their front line. You have a dominating bot lane that's very hard to kind of beat, knowing that they have Senna along with them. Like, it's just going to be a game of who can land the skill shots first and who can kind of go in and out of some of these exchanges. But then, you know, if you're a confident Caitlyn Morgana, you are able to kind of do these things and you're able to kind of pin down a lot of their front lane because of traps and because of bindings. I would have liked AoE to kind of pivoted their composition away because of what ISU has given them, that they're showing, they're picking champions to set up as a defensive unit. And it's a little bit unfortunate, but credits to AoE, they are sticking to their guns. Hopefully, they can set up this composition to perform well.
Yeah, it can still work, especially because you already talked about there's the clear quarterback coming into this one. Not as clear as before, where we were expecting it was going to be Disconnector on Senna, but still, Senna is the one you want to be able to tackle. You take her out, you're taking a lot of that power from ISU away, that she's no longer able to harass you from this long range away, and everyone else now is kind of thrown up in arms on what they're going to be able to do.
Yeah, it's a passing team versus a running team, man. That's what it is, Alex.
Also, hold on. Quick shout outs to Joey because I had the same mug as her. I saw that. I was like, hey, I actually have that.
I got my mug has red stripes and got hearts. So
we got to get you a good mug.
This is a good mug. It's the thing with this mug is that it has a lot.
That is true. It is. It's a big. That's a big one. But I have a foot.
Okay, well. Everyone has
let's get into game one. Game two, we already have a 1-0 lead for ISU over AoE. As AoE have drafted this full-on dive composition, trying to see if they can indeed tackle the quarterback. But there's a lot of linebackers that they have to deal with in front of them, and it's going to be hard to be able to get on top of Nausicaa.
Yeah. You ever heard of a blitz man? That's what AoE's trying to do, bro. They're trying to blitz them real hard.
Yeah, I've heard of Blitzcrank.
Okay, well, okay, all right, well, it's very clear that Alex doesn't watch football, guys. Alex, do you watch football?
No.
Okay, well,
not at all.
So there's a thing called the blitz.
I know that much. I know enough. Like, I made the linebacker reference. I know some things. I'm not that dumb.
Okay.
It's only mostly dumb.
Just making sure, man. You gotta see if we got the traditional sports coming in, man.
I see if you know hockey. I know hockey better. I'm
not a hockey guy, man. Unfortunately, I'm not.
So I'll tell you why I'm actually into hockey. Because I used to not be a hockey guy either. And then I worked at the Pond, which is also called the Honda Center, up in Anaheim.
Yeah.
And so the Ducks are obviously, being from Orange County. Angels and the Ducks are the two teams that you are fans of here. And so I was a fan of the Ducks, but I never really cared about hockey until I worked there. When you work there, it's not just being there, but it's being able to see the puck. It's so much easier live than it is on TV. That really does change because there's also a lot more action that happens elsewhere on the ice as opposed to just where the puck is.
I mean, that's what I've heard. Like, hockey is like a sport that is a lot better watching live compared to other traditional sports. Like, when you watch basketball on TV, it's just as hype as when you
follow the ball. It's easy.
Yeah, you follow the ball. It's easy to follow. I think this is what I've heard from hockey fans. The reason why they like watching hockey live is they get to see some of those fights, man. They get to see
oh my god,
punches.
some of the
they
fights
get to see people tackling to the wall,
legit,
man. Like, my god.
So I'll tell a quick story of my favorite fight that I ever saw. It was like this one quiet guy, Wisniewski. It was a defensive line who didn't really, he never really
what a
fought.
hockey name.
I know, right?
Wisniewski.
But he wasn't the enforcer. He wasn't the guy who normally fought. But it was against, I believe, the Red Wings, who are notorious for being kind of an asshole team. And they were playing way rough. It was like, no, this game didn't matter. But the Red Wings were making playoffs. Ducks weren't. This game had but they were playing way too rough, like way overly aggressively. And they actually knocked out one of the forwards, one of the stars of the Ducks, right? And just checking him, it was an illegal check too, so the guy actually got put in the box. But Wisniewski, I don't know what happened, but you could tell he was pissed. And so he knocks one of their forwards in a legal check, knocks the guy out, and then gets in a fight with their enforcer and actually knocks the enforcer out to be able to get him. But yeah, speaking of fights, just getting flashes, it's nothing too big. They saw Draxler there and okay, we're out.
Yeah. That's what I've heard about hockey, man. It's always about some of those fights. Always about seeing who tackles what onto the little
not even just
wall.
tackle. You gotta check. You check them, man.
Yeah, you gotta
hit
check them.
You
it's
hit
like
hard.
It's like, I don't know if you played street basketball. I know Elton's a big fan of street basketball, but it's like you trying to body up and trying to post up against one of them.
Ooh,
they're trying to push those flashes on the bottom side.
Look at the damage on Inosuka trying to be able to survive and turn it around and get first blood for Disconnector. Only barely.
Oh man, that's actually so unlucky. He also hyper picks up a kill on the top side too. That's honestly a big one for ISU, winning on both sides, man. First blood for Disconnector over Vex, and then of course Hyper getting a kill on his opponent on the top side. Drudozer has to back off.
In, looking to see if they can get him under the turret. Tank the turret shot, dodged away from the winds of war. Robbie Bob got himself pretty low, but thankfully there was no flash to be able to respond from Drudozer. All
right, man. He ain't getting caught by those winds, man. He's A-okay, staying grounded like a tree against Robbie Bob. And that's something that definitely is good for ISU, knowing that they've won both sides in the map so far. And it's looking good. Vex does have a CS lead, though, so that may play a factor on the bottom side, swinging towards AoE's favor.
At least for now, and this is sadly kind of the issue that you have when you have something like a Rumble into Kaisa and Rakan, where you saw the double knockup. They already used both their flashes. Heal's gone, too.
Oh, yeah, it was clean.
It's really easy to be able to follow that up. And now, Disconnector pretty much is having to farm with either the Electric Harpoon or hoping that Nasta can get everything low enough so when he gets close enough with the Flame Spitter, he can actually take all the minions.
It was a good try, though. I definitely respect AoE punishing those flashes with a double man knockup. The issue is that Rumble just has a lot of base damage early on. Yeah. Like, even though you got that knockup, Disconnector was already activating that Flame Spitter, and that's why SkyTech was just taking all that heat, pun intended, against Disconnector and that Flame Spitter.
I love little techniques like this. Whenever I watch pro games like that, like SkyTech making sure the wave is frozen so Vex can show up. Unfortunately, it is at the trade of this dragon. It's a good trade though. You're not going to be able to not going to be able to get it. The wave is going to crash regardless. Might as well just sacrifice a little bit of time so that way Vex can continue to get this lead over Disconnector.
Yeah, honestly really good on them. Just mean the Hyper is able to show up on the bottom side and let Nazca and Disconnector crash this wave, which is mainly what they want to do. Hyper, I don't know if you want to dive, man. I think you want to take those drugs.
No.
Yeah.
Especially that Robbie Bob has 6. There's no reason to look for that.
Yeah, I'm like, yo.
Though, I want to turn our attention to the top lane, because it looks like
top lane?
trying to be able to get Sham. Wow.
Observer!
Look, he's got no flash, but he's turning it around. He's got a lot of damage back on his Solidify. Trying to see if he can wait out the cooldown. Wait out the timer. Parlay damage. Trying to turn it around with the trial by
one more parlay.
Getting one more. There it is! 1v2. He turns it around. And Solidified can't get on top of him. Punches him with the haymaker. Tries to get in. Shadow Dash gets the kill. But Drudozer, he might be able to trade this back and make it a 2-4-1 ShamWow.
You can't teach that.
Much. He can't get it. He's out of there, and it is going to be the 1-for-1.
You can't teach that, Alex. You cannot teach ShamWow. Yo, this is what you got to do in this situation. That's clutch right there for turning things around. On the bottom side, we got another fight coming in, and Robbie Bob coming too.
Nicely done, Heroic. Entrance kill. TP's a bit too late. And you're going to be able to get the knockup onto ShamWow. ShamWow does not have the flash, but does have the barrels, scaring away 3 members of AoE. Keep in mind, if Vex shows up a little bit too far, that parlay is going to kill him. Barrel put down. Going to be the parlay onto SkyTech. Hyper wants to be able to get Sky Splitter, but he's bouncing around, getting the stun. But look at the shield from Stan United to be able to help him out.
All right, we're getting way too hyphy right now. We're getting way too... It is getting saucy right now. I don't know who woke the baby, Alex. Did you wake the baby? I don't know why. I don't know why everyone's all growling and yelling at everyone right now when everyone's trying to fight through, man. But you can't teach this. Look at ShamWow. He's so patient with this. Solidified, fortunately, misspacing on the way ShamWow wanted path, and that means he gets it at the end of the day. ShamWow, of course, makes a mistake stepping up on this dash right here, and should just give him the kill over Drudozer. So that is a mistake at the end of the day. But ISU, they're kind of clawing it back and forth, but AoE answering back on the bottom side, sitting at Vex 3-0, by the way. Like, this boy's fed. This boy, I think we woke the baby because Vex was just hungry.
Well, and we talked about tackling the quarterback that's going to be Nazca, right? Well, what happens when the other quarterback is actually tackling you? You have this quarterback who's so willing to just tackle anybody. That's what's essentially happened with Vex right now.
Magical. We got 200-pound linebackers. But here's the issue. They got a 500-pound blitzer on the other side, man. I don't know if they can hold Vex coming through so he can bypass a lot of them if he gets his fed. We have to keep tabs on how Vex progresses in the state of the game. But right now, we do see ISU going for a lane swap so they can get that Herald for Hyper, so they can try and progress this game as fast as they can. But
they probably
I don't know if you want
lane,
to.
They? Yeah. They put it mid lane because there's only 2 plates there. So being able to open this up a bit more for Drudozer, you've already seen him pretty much out-rotating Robbie Bob. Robbie Bob was able to use one heroic entrance. Now without the tier 1 in mid, it's going to give a lot more opportunities to Drudozer, but top lane solidified as well as Draxter, getting so much damage on Nausicaa, trying to be able to chase him down. Going to be the equalizer, but it's not actually a great placement. He has to flash away to be able to survive, but he's going to be chased down, unless, of course, Hyper's going to be able to help him with Sky Splitter to get a lot of damage. Bot lane was able to get a kill. Blade Splitter gets a kill top lane, so we have a total of a 2-for-1 globally.
All right, and even then on the bottom side, we see Vex and
Shamwell trying to get away, darting shadows, and you're taking the turn! That's gonna be Shamwell turning around, make that a 3-for-1 globally.
All right, oh my God. Yo, we got top side plays, we got bot side plays. We got a party everywhere, Alex.
Well, it is not even 10 minutes into the game.
It's not 10 minutes in.
And we're having so much craziness happen.
Everyone's whining, everyone's crying, everyone wants kills. We got kills on the top side where they tackle Nausicaa down because of the flash taunt from Solidified. Like, everyone is down a clown and down a slug. And this is great. I mean, this is entertaining for me. This is entertaining for Magical. At the end of the day, though, the question is, why are y'all making some of these decisions? Why are you guys trying to fight and slug it through? That's honestly a question that we got to ask, because Vex makes a very big mistake trying to go for this dive on the bottom side. He thought he had it, but Dawning Shadow adds a gigantic recovery for Shamwell to make sure he's alive, and he just throws his lead away. And now look at Shamwell. He's there sitting 3-1 with that Trinity Force and a buffed Trinity Force in this patch too.
Oh man, it's so different. That's why I was wondering why last game when we saw Ezreal that we didn't actually see the Trinity Force be that first item. More just because what changed with it. It now actually benefits champions like Ezreal, like Gangplank. Before, you know, that attack speed, not really something that they cared too much about. Now getting a little bit more AD, as you can see, it's going to be the flash onto Disconnector, Equalizer onto 3 members, but it's not going to be able to get enough damage.
We dive in.
Heroic entrance, double knockup, but look at Hyper in the back line, trying to see if they can get the showstopper as well in the Sky Tech to be able to take him down. Draxter trying to be able to get back away, but he's finished off, double kill, and no turret to run to. It's a triple kill coming in from Hyper.
Mistakes from AoE, Alex. You trying to tackle the quarterback, I understand, but you don't got your 500-pound linebacker with you. Vex was in the bottom side the entire damn time fighting a one-on-one against Shamwell, and that's why AoE making some mistakes right now. Some of these decisions when they try to pick some of these fights were very correct, and sometimes they punish these mistakes from ISU, but that was a play that was not needed. They want to try and go for some more, though.
They got the killer instinct on Shamwell. They burst him down to give shutdown goal over to Vex. Hyper has to get away from the dragon. He's about to get pitched here, but keep in mind, Nausicaa and Drudozer, both of them nearby. Hyper doing his best to be able to delay long enough with the shield coming in from Sky Splitter, looking to see if they can get the taunt, but now Hyper is chasing down, flashing forward to take down Sky Tech. Robbie Bob is going to be the next to fall as well, even though they got the shutdown they needed to on a Hyper. Drudozer has a big shield, trying to fight back, 2v3, going to be the onslaught shadows, and Vex was able to get the kill. Wait, no, he's dead, and now Nausicaa is trying to get away from this entire fight, finally chased down for a double kill out of Solidified.
My God, all this just started because they want to stall off this dragon, but Vex was nowhere part of that beginning of the play. He was down on the bottom side managing that wave. AoE are kind of in the middle of 2 plays at once. Vex wants to try and get some farm on himself on the bottom side, and then we see a fight in the mid, fight around the dragon. That of course results in AoE winning it, but still we're seeing some glimpses of AoE just not being on the same page and not being together. Vex dying at the end of it, of course, isn't a good look either. Even though this game is going back and forth in some of these fights, just take a look at the top screen, ladies and gentlemen. That's a 5K gold lead for ISU because they're still winning at the end of it off of Hyper, sitting there 6-2.
That's the thing that's crazy to me, is that there has been so much chaos, so much fighting, yet you still have this massive lead coming in from ISU. As Disconnector, 1v2 top lane, his Equalizer unfortunately does not have that punch just yet. You can see that he's still working on getting himself that mythic. But Drew, he's got the he's got the Stride Breaker. Gonna be a nice dodge away, but it's gonna be the double knock up on top of Drudozer. Scared away still. They gotta be careful because that turret is near death. But if they can have Vex, if they can have Draxter show up in time, it's gonna be hard for Drudozer to be able to get away from this one. He's gonna be able to.
They good. Okay.
He'll be able to get out of it.
All right, Alex, we got to point something out that is detrimental in this game right now.
What up?
Look at Solidified. Look at that 42. By his little icon. Let's look at Shamwell.
I see it.
The boy got 108. The boy got like double CS and then some. Now we see Vex stepping up way too hard.
Vex though,
But turns
look
him
at
around.
that. Is he really stepping up too far? He was
turns
able to
around.
turn around, and now 4v2. Even though the TP is behind, they're trying to get on top of Vex. They're going to be able to get stunned, and they might be able to finish him.
Vex is down.
He's gone. If they can get away from this, Solidified's too low, and he's dead too. Hyper trying to get towards the outcome to be safe and secure, but he's not. He's dead. Trying to get away. Draxler, he's cut off from the team. Might have to run back towards the team that are underneath the turret. Robbie Bob nearly finished up. Natsuko needs one more shot and won't be able to get the kill with the equalizer under the turret. They got the knockup, but Natsuko barely finally died. SkyTech flashed over the wall. Flash coming in from Disconnector. He's overheated. He's got the damage. You can't run anymore, SkyTech. Even if you got the grand entrance, one more harpoon. Wow, okay, maybe you can run away. Because he's got himself a fancy feat. Yeah, he's got it.
He still wants to chase.
No.
Oh, what?
Whoa,
Get that.
where are you going?
Get that bird. Get that bird. You want it.
There he is.
He's in that bush.
Grand entrance. When's he gonna use it? Come on.
He's pointing.
Okay, he got the harpoon.
This.
Two harpoons. Oh, okay. Now he's gonna roast the chicken alive.
There you go. There you go. He got the wild game, man.
Good. Yeah.
Roast chicken tastes good, man. Roast pheasant tastes good. And he finally gets it. But at the end of the day, Magic, let's rewind the entire freaking play. That started off top side with Vex stepping up a little bit too far from Judozer, and then everything literally blowing themselves out.
Okay, guys, can you stop fighting?
No need to stop.
Man, this is just so much chaotic fighting back and forth. We're 15 minutes in the game. We have over 30 kills. They're trying to see if they can get up to 3 kills a minute.
Man, we're literally just the side characters of 2 anime protagonists and antagonists just literally looking to be ready to duke it out. We're like, hey, guys, this is legit episode 4 right now. We haven't even built the character arcs yet. Why y'all fighting? We need to chill and take a step back because right now, ISU, they are still slugging it out. They're still down to fight, but they're still the ones winning everything. And if I'm looking at the entire league, ISU are the ones who are the big bad villains. They're the ones who are at the top, and they're the ones who have the mark behind their backs. And AOE in this story are the young, underdogs and the protagonists of this series. But y'all haven't hit that training arc yet. Y'all need to stop. Just chill, relax.
Well, we are getting a moment of reprieve. At least for now. Maybe I jinxed it because. Yeah. Okay. Draxler is gonna try to get away. They're gonna be able to.
I'm breathing.
He's fine.
So
I'm looking at the mythics. We have time to talk about items. We have a Trinity Force coming in from Draxler. Not going to be the Turbo Chem tank that we normally see.
Bro. Yeah, let's just peek Shamrock real quick.
You knew he was there. Why did you shadow dash forward like that? He had to flash away. And they're going to continue.
They want to go.
They've popped the
they want to go.
And they've got 4 members nearby, even with the TP coming in from Judozer soon or later.
Yeah,
no, he's dead. They've already got the kill on Hyper Natsuko trying to be able to get away from this one. Sham Wow just going to bail on him. It's a double kill from Vex. Look, the damage coming in from Sham Wow with that cannon barrage. Tries to turn it around. 1v4. He takes him down. TP in. Trying to see if they can chase down more. They're going to be able to get the face breaker with the shield coming in from the Haymakers. Finally dead to the killing spree coming in from Vex with Disconnector on the other side. Sham Wow is waiting it out, trying to get parlay, but Disconnector was found out by Draxler and shut down as well.
Yo, how much of Shamrock got absorbed before he actually has to squeeze everything out, bro? I'm being honest, because the man took 3 people in front of his face and one that installed everything else out, bro. And I was gonna speak a little bit about ShamWow because we take a look at the items. The man got 2 items. He got a Serpent's Fang being built in, whereas Solidified, he only got 1. Baby girl, he only got 1. He's doing he's doing God's work right now, sitting there with gigantic gold
oh my God,
coming
I thought he
in.
was
Now they're fighting over the dragon.
Well, Vex is dead.
Vex is down, man. He got cut down with a flaming sword. Like, who's gonna stop the ShamWow character? We're not even talking about Natsuko anymore. We're talking about ShamWow. Because this man is being a big
built
product.
up a Frostfire gauntlet. That ain't the quarterback anymore. He's
No.
Switched over to being that linebacker as well. ShamWow is got Serpent's Fang, has got Trinity Force as well. The shields that you thought were going to keep Vex safe, not going to really help out anymore. And keep in mind, How long ago was it they took to that tier 2 mid lane? So now they can actually siege on to the inhibitor with the help of this Rift Herald. They might be able to crack the base prior to 20 minutes.
Yeah, but Alex, pay attention to the backside. We have SkyTech sitting in the back line. He wants to find a flank. Vex is coming in with Killer Instinct. This is where the engage comes in.
Looking for heroic entrance as well. Going to be at 1 going golden, but it's only Disconnector so far. ShamWow is damaged with the barrel. They take him down Disconnector. Hyper trying his best to be able to kite back so ShamWow can get another parlay, but it's a double kill for Vex beforehand.
And that's where we are finally able to see a dive composition find success in one of these fights here, where they use all their ultimates in tangent with one another. That's what's supposed to happen, but that's what we haven't seen in the rest of the game, because everyone was just fighting left and right, some with cooldown, some without, and that's why it was a gigantic slugfest through and through. But now AoE finally find an option where they finally find a great play on themselves. Now they have to see if they can tackle down Drudozer. Oh, they definitely want to.
Oh, yeah, they do. And they want to give more gold over to Vex. He's got 12 kills in 19 minutes.
That's what I want to see, man. Hold half the kills on yourself. Make sure you get up to 500 pounds of pure muscle so you can tackle down and not have to worry about the front line of ISU. Right now, you have to deal with ShamWow being a secondary quarterback that you know, freaking Noska can kind of throw an audible to. So we have to be very mindful of what can happen.
But Will, we're not even 20 minutes in, and it's 3 items for Vex. 3.
Not that it's just 3 items. It's also 44 kills in this game. Alex, this is like watching NFL. And it's not like a 20-20 score line. It's legit at like a 50-50 score line that happened in like the freaking third quarter. It's like, what the heck's going on? Like, everyone's just getting touchdown back left and right. Everyone's getting field goals left and right. Legit, that's what this game is right now, ladies and gentlemen.
ShamWow, he's got 3 items. Vex has got 3 items. Everyone else has got an item and a half.
Solidified is the one who has taken the brunt of the game right now. He legit has not been farming.
He's got Flame Horizon, man.
I don't know if you know my brother, Magical. My brother loves playing Shen. This is legit what my brother does, bro. The moment he hits 6, he's like, yo, man, where can I ulti to? Yo, man, where can I help out in the team fight? That's literally what he does. That's what basically Solidified is doing. He's literally doing the best chilling brother impression of just helping out in team fights, making sure he's there to taunt, to flash, to teleport. That's all he's doing right now. But once he starts landing, it's not a pretty sight. He's 2 levels down.
Observers, can we see gold for the teams? Because I just want to see that really quick. But right now, we do have a Baron started up, so maybe afterwards we'll see where the gold all is. ISU got to peel off of it. They're trying to see if they can bait in the fight. Vex, look at the damage they got on the Disconnector just from the Winds of War. So now, there we go. We can see the gold and where that is at the moment. Vex having a lot of it. Only comparable against ShamWow.
Yeah, only comparable. But I like what the sneaky ward that they have for AoE has done wonders for. That's why they're able to be here for us defensive stop here. But the issue is that no one's stopping ShamWow, bro. No one is stopping ShamWow from split pushing.
ShamWow has double the gold of Solidified. Double the gold of Solidified. He's got 2 level leads. What can the Shen do? He can't do anything. Heroic Entrance not going to be able to get the knock they need to. But look at the damage on the SkyTech on the other side. Well, Vexro is able to get Disconnector to go golden, but the rest of his team is getting run down. They might have gotten the kill. They've got 2 actually. Look at Vex. Look at Vex. Look at Vex. They might be able to go to triple, but he's shut down finally. They've taken him out. And with the TP and ShamWow and crew, they want a Baron.
Vex almost salvaged the back end of that fight, but unfortunately gets stunned up, and Hyper still holding on to that ultimate, the Stormbreaker for himself. Make sure he wins that fight, Alex. And the one thing I gotta criticize AoE in that beginning was that all those ultimates were so defensive, bro. They were sitting right there by that pixel bush. They were nowhere near Nausicaa and Vex. Killer Instinct towards Disconnector. Those are the big points of that fight that cost AoE that battle, man. If they were to tackle Nausicaa, if they were to dive in with Draxter on the backside, that could have been it. That could have been a potential win for AoE. But because they lost his Baron, ISU win that fight and they balloon themselves up nearly 10k ahead.
And it's the worst of all worlds for AoE, isn't it? They lost the bot lane inhibitor with that. They've lost control around the Baron, meaning Baron into ISU's hands. Dragon as well can now be easily taken by ISU, with AoE having little they can really do to answer.
It's so tough, dude. Like, I understand that AoE wants to dive onto ShamWow, dive onto Nausicaa, but like, this is where the payoff comes in. Yes, you got a 500-pound blitzer on Vex. The issue is that you got like 80 power plus on Solidified, dude. He ain't tackling anyone. He is not tackling anyone on
It's like
ISU
me
side,
trying
bro.
to tackle someone. I'm just all skin and bones, and I'm just like, if anyone was like heavier than me, I'm just kind of like hanging off, like, please fall over.
If this was fellow commentators, Alex, Vex is Desterex. No one wants to mess with Dexter on a one-on-one. Solidified's you. We're all okay with you tackling any one of us, man.
Hey, right now, ShamWow, looks like they were able to get him to go golden. Equalizer doing a lot of damage. Solidified is dead on the other side. They got the shutdown, sure, but look at the base. The base is just being taken. Disconnector is distracting the best he can while everyone else is ending the damn game. They had the Ohm Wrecker effect is best in the damn game, baby, as they are in the base looking to take game 2 in another bloody battle. It is back and forth, but finally, ISU, even with the fact they're trying to pad the KDAs at the very end, they got the minions to end it all and win 2-0.
Alex, this ain't no Brady Bunch show anymore. This is a One Direct priority, man. ISU, they see no evils, and they don't want to bother with the haters coming out, man. These guys are playing. These guys, they made it a bloodbath, but it was definitely a fun bloodbath that worked well for their favor. And credits to ISU, man. They were just down to fight. ShamWow was like mad CS over Solidified. Solidified was a 100-pound linebacker, which is what you don't want on any football team, no matter what. It's the offensive line from ISU, from AOE. They couldn't do anything, man. Even though Vex was super fed, they need to link up and make sure they're tackling at the same time. So someone's playing off beat, bro. Someone's kind of calling a little bit too early, and unfortunately AoE does fall. But regardless, it was I would say it was an okay showing for the first time. You know, they played a pretty cohesive composition. Unfortunate that they didn't adapt in draft to deal with the front line of what ISU had, because in some of those fights, man, Oscar was just able to do his thing. And usually when we have a Senna in that kind of position, usually Senna's straight up dead. But with all that front line, it was kind of good for ISU, and it worked out well.
And for ISU, like, the thing we got to say with them is they like to play these chaotic gameplay styles where you have wild games like this. Yet this is why I kept mentioning, even though there were moments where it seemed like AoE should be the ones in the lead, they were constantly down in gold, constantly behind, and it never really worked out for them.
That's where, when we look at cohesive compositions, especially click our compositions, such as what AoE has drafted for themselves, right? The big thing is that some of these compositions are also very hard to kind of pilot. Yeah, it seems simple because, you know, you just click one button, it's all good. You know, you just click the R button as long as someone's in there, and you guys are fine, right? The issue is that y'all got to manage cooldowns, y'all got to manage your resources, y'all got to keep in mind who has flashes, where the terrain's going to be, and that's where that execution comes in very hard. And we saw some of those fights. You know, they were taking fights back to back without the same resources, and then that last fight around Baron, they were not in, and they used those ultimates defensively. And Vex shot himself to the right wing towards Disconnector. He didn't go in deep. No, he went to the right side, and unfortunately, that was a big mistake on his end.
All right, but that is going to be it for us here. It's a 2-0 for ISU. We're going to toss it over to the desk. They're going to be able to take this over. Apparently, I've been told by the producer to trust them, and so you know I don't trust them. So desk,
we don't trust them. Boo.
Thank you very wow. Okay, bro. This is not fam. Yo, I put up with this the entire previous season. It will not happen today. Get their crown off of his head, bro. I know
now they're gonna put it back. You know, now they're going to put it back. They removed it. Yeah.
Look, yet again, I was always a prediction king. I always outdid beat anytime it came to it, bro. Y'all got to stop with this cat.
Yeah,
bro. This man
what's it like in this magic world you live in, bro? I want to go there, bro.
That's it, but you don't get to talk for the rest of the day, all right? Jolly, talk to me and only me about how you felt about that game. Beat down Boulevard, just leave, bro. Go.
That game was... that game. Now we've lost him. All right, look what you've done.
Right. No, we don't need him. It's fine. It's me.
Okay. All right. No, I mean that was an incredible game. And I am addressing strictly you now. It was very back and forth. Obviously, it looked like for a while there towards the end, you had what kind of seemed like a comeback from AoE. But honestly, you could consistently just look at that gold differential. Even when AoE had like 3-4 successful, not team fights, because they were kind of a little bit split, and that's where they were able to get, a bit of a jump on some of these initiations. But you looked at the end, it was 9 towers to 0. Towards that part where AoE was kind of regaining some momentum forward, it was 6 to 0. So we can see here, this was a solid fight, I think, from AoE, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this might be the one where we get the Rakan who comes up behind and gets a spectacular. There it is. You can see some SkyTech come through and get an ultimate on this line, and then the equalizer coming out. So a lot of solid damage. They had a lot of really good fights, but when it came down to it, ISU had the pressure. They had the priority in all of these lanes. They had everything pushed. And again, when you've got 9 towers to 0 at the end of the game, you can only do so much when you're successful with a fight. If those objectives are going heavy-handedly over to one team, there's not much you can do to slim that differential, and it was always in ISU's favor.
ISU wanted to make sure that not a single tower stood by the end of each and every single one of those games. I said before, the property value with Summoner's Rift is far too high, so they're here to do construction and knock some things down, Jolly. So, like you
said,
much
advertisement.
That's
too many
what I'm saying. So way too much for investment, bro. Too many newcomers in all this. They didn't make sure that they can equalize the rest across the board. But past all that, right? You saw ISU at some certain points, because they built up such a disgusting early lead. At every single win con they had for the composition was already fighting on all fronts. That I felt like they were kind of just having fun throughout the entire game. They knew what they were doing. They knew they would win, because unfortunately, it was just such a dominant victory that they had. Just shout out to them for honestly doing extremely well, showing up like they do, being previous champions, right? We did expect a lot out of them, and one person we especially expected a lot out of was War Machine Hyper.
I'm not 100% certain, but we did for have a moment. Instead of Magical was like, hold on, wait a second, that's not me. And then comes back, he's like, all right, I'm here. So clearly, just very playful players. They know, they go in with confidence. They won the first game, so they figured, hey, we can cheese it up even more. Let's do that. So they threw the Thrumble down in the bottom lane, and that just allowed so much pressure for every single lane. Again, there was really no chance for AoE to catch up, even if they were successful in these fights, because they didn't have pressure anywhere on the map.
Not at all. Now, with that all being said, though, I do want to thank you for coming on as well for the desk today, Jolly. It was an honor and pleasure, and we do hope to see you again. Beatdown Boulevard, of course, as always. It was wonderful having you on with us, right? Great to see you doing happy, healthy, and alive, my friend. And you've certainly gotten a brand new makeup for yourself. Of course, our caster for the night, Channeling Walk, and Mad Magical, and our production is always the Hypertension, and the one and only Hypertension, and HB for observing. Now, with that, I have been Ravishing Ravish, the most ravishing man on the internet. Y'all stay safe. Take care. Peace. Hyper, you can put on your head.